Welcome back to Autodesk Maya. We're continuing the rock texture project. In the last tutorial, we basically created this 3D Maya text and went through the different attributes and made a render, kind of set up our lighting sequence. So now we're going to actually apply a material to this type, which doesn't have, it has a default material, but nothing very exciting. The first thing you have to understand is what project you're in. Now, as you can see here up here, you can't see it, but it's up to the top here. I have it's the Maya Projects defaults project window, which is most likely what you'll have unless you set up an actual project for this scene. So, what you want to do is get some textures first. And so I have some textures here, and I went to textureking.com to get these. Great source for these textures, but also textures.com, which formerly cgtextures.com has some really great textures. You just have to sign up for email. So again, just shout out to them. And what you want to do is you have to drag these into a particular folder. So in the documents folder over here, I'm going to double click on Maya, double click on projects, and then I have lots of projects here, but this basic project I have here is a default project, so I'm just going to double click in here. And where you want to put this is in the source images folder, so in here. And it looks like I already have a nice texture here in here, but I'll go ahead and drag another one in here. I don't know if I'll use it, but actually I'm going to copy this just so I have the original in this folder. And that's pretty much all you got to do. Maya will navigate to that source folder once you apply your material. Now, applying materials in Maya is a little tricky. There is, under the type menu here, a texturing area, and in here you can apply to different parts, basically the front, the top and side and so forth. Or you can click on the all material shader here, and you can walk your way through there by clicking on this little icon here. And basically it has a shader here where basically you have to apply it in the color, and if there is a bump area. And that's the problem, is I don't know if I want this particular blend applied to this. So I actually want a different kind of material for the Arnold shader, which is AI standard. So I'm going to open up my Hypershade. I have a hotkey in the shelf here set up, so I can just click on it and it will pop up. You can go to let's see, under Windows, where is it here? Rendering editors, and there's the Hypershade. And so it popped up on my other window here, my other monitor, so I'm just going to bring it over. And to create a new material, on the left here you'll see the Arnold node here, and here's the shaders for the Arnold. And the one I'm looking for is the AI standard. So and you can adjust the sort of direction here, but here's the AI standard. So I just click on that. It will automatically populate it in the scene here as a default sort of gray material. Now, with it selected in here, I can do some things to it. But what I'm going to do instead is select the text and then hover over this and right click and assign material selection. That way, this Maya text now has that shader. And so if I scroll through the attribute editor using these little arrows, go to the AI standard, there it is. And I could rename it if I wanted to. I could call it rock texture, for example, if I wanted to. Now, what I'm going to do is, with Maya selected here, and of course the shader here, there's lots of different areas here you can go through. The first one is the diffuse. I'm going to go into the color node, and you just click on this little checker pattern. And again, my window is popping up on the other monitor, but you'll get this create render node here, and you click on File, and right over here you have a little folder icon. Now you can leave the quadratic on, or you can turn it off. It's just a type of filtering. I tend to leave this off and click on the little folder icon here, and again, little window popped off to the side here. And then you just got to find your texture, and again, you're in the source images here, so it pops in there. And I think I'm going to use this one here, perhaps. I may use this one actually. Let me try this one. And basically just click open, and so there it is. And then what I'm going to do is scroll down here until I find or actually I'm in the color node, so let me back up here. There we go. Hitting that little arrow backs out. And what I want to do is go down until I see the bump mapping and open up that. So I'm clicking the little arrow, and here's the little checker node again. So I'm clicking that same little icon, going into the create node, click on the file, and it's going to basically repeat the same action, except now we don't have the folder icon, we just have the bump value here. Now I know 1 is going to be a little bit strong here, so I'm going to type in like, let's see, point, I don't know, 0.5 maybe to start with. And to get to the actual node, you can click the arrow and then click on bump mapping again until it leads you to the folder icon. Sometimes a little tricky. This is one thing I find a little bit annoying with Maya, is how difficult and non-streamlined it is to actually bring in different textures. Now typically with bump map you want it to be a black and white, basically showing lights and darks. You can use color maps, texture maps like this. It'll basically just drop the color and pretend this is light and dark. So it won't work like a true bump map, but it'll kind of give you an idea. And so now that I have those applied, we can't see it in our scene here until we change some things. So we're in viewpoint 2.0 under rendering, but what we want to go to shading and choose hardware texturing. We need to have that applied, and then you can basically go from 4 to 5 to 6, and you'll start to see your texturing. Now if for some reason it's not showing it like it is here, that's due to the graphics card, which I have some issues on my machine here. So the only option is to render it out. So I'm just going to click on render, and I'm going to go ahead and pause while it's rendering here. So it looks pretty good here. You can see in this render view, the lighting's not as strong, and that's due to the fact that the bump and the texturing sort of take over from the material. So what I would like to do actually is render out one with the texture and one without, and basically have these two different images. Now if I would have saved that out the previous render, I would already have it, but what I can do is I can break the connection very easy and have the two together. So I like this texture, I like the lighting setup and everything, I think pretty well. But we could test it out again another way, but I'm going to go ahead and save this out. So all you do is go File, Save Image, and again my little window is popping up on another monitor, and so I'll call this Maya Text 1, and I'm going to leave it as a PNG, which will preserve alpha transparency. Another file format that'll do it is TIFFs are really great also. But for single frames, the PNG works out fine. For some reason, if you do a render animation sequence you want to do as a TIFF, the PNG tends not to render out alpha for some reason. So anyways, here it is rendered out, and I have it now saved. And I can actually click on the little save icon here, this one, to save out this image. And then what I can do now, click on it, and basically go to the texturing again and come over here and break connection. So I can go to the color, right click on the color, break connection. That'll get rid of the color node, and then scroll down to the bump mapping, right click, break connection, and that will get rid of the bump. So now if I hit 4, 5, you'll see here that the diffuse is black, so I can bring it back to white, and I can render out this as another render. And the reason why I'm doing this is I may want to composite these together, and so I'm going to pause while this is rendering. So here you can see the before and after basically, and it's very important that you don't move your scene in any way. So you can lock down your camera or just not click in there with the move tool. I just use the select tool, which is very important. So to make sure that that wouldn't happen, I accidentally moved the render view into the window there. If that happens, you can just drag it out. So but now I can composite these into Photoshop. So in the next tutorial, what we'll do is we'll bring these into Photoshop and we'll kind of play around with them. We may even drop out this texture and apply it in a completely different way in Adobe Photoshop CC. So see you soon. Until then, we'll continue the rock text project in future tutorials. Cheers.